Hello and welcome to episode 175 of the SideQuest podcast. This week we'll be asking, is Starfield legit?
Who knows?
Interesting headline.
Is
Tell me
Starfield
more.
real?
I mean, it's real. We've
I
seen
thought
it.
that's what we were watching. Breyer has me thinking, second guessing myself with that question. Now I don't know.
I mean, okay, so
The
we
man
saw the
knows
Xbox.
how to make a YouTube headline. Okay.
we made the we saw the Xbox conference, and like the whole last half of it was Starfield, right?
Right.
And they showed a lot, and they showed a lot of interesting stuff. I thought, like
They did.
the shipbuilding I thought was really cool, and how like well you could customize your ship, which then you live on. The fact that you can build bases and you can colonize places. It looks like it's going to have a full featured story. I'll tell you, the most worrying thing though that I saw in that whole thing was how much procedural generated content there's going to be, and like how much of my time is going to be spent like just wandering around picking up resources, like just to upgrade a thing, or you know what I mean, like how much No Man's Sky is in this game.
I think right, and I've watched quite a bit of it. I'm definitely missing some of the. I didn't watch like every last detail of it yet. I was going to rewatch it, but they make the golden path, right? So the main campaign and everything, which I think there were some reports on how long that was. Like, I wouldn't expect you to suffer any of that. Not really, right? Where if you want to go out and venture into this world, and we've seen this with Bethesda, there's gonna be lots to do. But yeah, I don't expect it to affect the core of it. But maybe if you're doing a ton of side questing, and then do you run out of stuff, and does resources become an issue? But I don't have that concern personally.
No, you're just like flat out excited. 100%
Yeah.
on board. Have you pre-ordered the watch? Do you have the watch?
No. I'm a Twitch streamer, man. I'd consider it, but no.
That's right. Twitch streamers need no watches. They don't care about time.
Yeah, we don't. That's what I meant by that. Yeah. But no, like I think Starfield, I'm mostly excited for the main core of it, and then see what draws me out into the world.
Yeah.
I thought the world just looks really cool. And just the idea of exploring I like, but in other words, I'm less probably, believe it or not, for this game, just because I've played Bethesda games. I don't know that I'm going to be spending like 200 to 400 hours just exploring.
Yeah.
But we'll see if it grabs me. You never know.
So like games they've done in the past, like Fallout 3 is and New Vegas are like my two favorites. But the thing that kept me exploring in those games was that there are all these like stories, right? It's like you'd just like wander around a corner and you'd see this like, abandoned bunker. You'd go down into the bunker and you'd find out the story of the experiments that were being run in this bunker on the people that were living there, and like what happened to these people. And that was really interesting. Like it was just constantly getting that kind of stuff. Or you'd run into a cave and you find like, these cannibals that live there, and like you'd find a story about that, right? When you get into like a bunch of procedural generated content, like, am I going to get that? Is it going to be just like constant, like around every corner? Is there something new and cool to see? Or is it going to be vast swaths of emptiness where I'm just looking for iron ore and shooting it with my gun like No Man's Sky?
I wouldn't think so. I mean, I don't know enough about that aspect of it. I'm definitely behind on that part of it.
Yeah.
But meaning, I wouldn't expect Bethesda to not still have the core of it there, right? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, in other words, what makes you think that even though they're expanding with all this procedural, stuff, what makes you think that they also won't caretake that core of the experience that's usually there for you?
I don't know. Past experiences of playing procedural generated content, I think. It's
right,
just,
but not from
more. It feels less
Curate.
crafted. Yeah, curate.
Yeah. But if you look at, Skyrim and Fallout 3 and Fallout 4, and did those deliver for you overall on all those little side quests?
100%, yeah.
Yeah, and and again, that's why I'd pose, like, I don't know, just because they're exploring all that, and we'll see how that delivers, why, they're still not going to handcraft all what they normally do on top of that.
Yeah.
Or as the base, maybe is a better way to put it.
Yeah, I hope you're right. I hope that's exactly how it is.
I'm always the optimist until I see it, right?
Yeah.
I think what Breyer might be concerned about is like if you're going around the world looking for that kind of like cool curated stuff, and you're landing on like procedural generated planets, and you're like, oh, it's one of these planets again. And then you're like,
yeah,
okay,
I see what you
where's the
mean.
planet with the good shiz? Where's it at?
Yeah.
It might be harder to find those experiences if you're kind of searching around with the procedural generated things.
Everything else they showed in that I don't know, I wouldn't call it a trailer. What would you call that? Like a gameplay showcase? Okay.
Yeah.
They showed so much stuff that was like I was just getting more and more excited about the game. Like the customization of the ships, and then later on they show like they made one ship like look like a mech, like Optimus Prime, which I thought was like really fun. And like not only are you going to be able to like the ship is going to be like like represented on the outside, but the interior ship is going to be represented by how you customize it as well. Like the shape of the interior, and like your weapon systems and like how the ship flies and performs is going to be like, so you're going to be fighting in space, like it's in ship to ship combat. So that is really fun. And then like, also, building bases and stuff. Fallout 4, it had that kind of like base building aspect, but there's no reason at all to engage with it except if you just felt like it, but there's no like gameplay reason to do so. So this all looked like there's much more of a gameplay reason to do so. You can build resources, have these resources being sent to you. Yeah, we'll see.
It is looking good. And like the thing that intrigued me is they're like, you can go and board people's ships and steal it. And I was like,
yeah, you just gank it.
That's pretty cool.
Hijack.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I'm just
cool.
I'll do. This is what's gonna happen with me in Starfield. I'm just gonna go around jacking everyone's ships.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna finish the game because I'm just like, oh wait, that was fun. I want to go steal another ship.
Yeah.
I'll never get to the main story.
Well, that'd be awesome if there's like side stuff in the game that's so compelling that you just distracts you.
Very true.
I wonder if you could like
bridges in Death Stranding.
If you like gank two ships, can you like? Well, I guess they showed that you can like break them apart and like use those parts to like add to your ship. God, space pirating sounds fun.
Yeah. I will say this is that this is definitely, of all Bethesda's IP reveals and like knowing how and what they do, and even including Fallout, like this is the title I'm now most excited about from them. In other words, before, like I always sort of expect that little like, well, it's kind of like a little broken at first, a little janky, but man, you can do so much cool stuff. But this one, even though I expect some of that, I'm just more excited than usual because after looking at the quality, I guess, of the different locations and just that there was, unlike a game like, and disclaimer, I haven't really played No Man's Sky, but at a glance, No Man's Sky is a lot more about that adventure and exploration and going from, one beautiful procedurally generated planet to another, where when you look at Starfield and you get into the cities and stuff, it just looks like so alive and so cool. And the characters still, there's a lot of stuff they showed with the characters that felt great. So yeah, I just right now I don't know how I'm gonna have time to play all that, but again, I'm hoping just the main campaign draws you into that world in a really smart, well-paced way. It's a problem I have with most games these days is that you play 3/4 of the main campaign and a lot of that is like just a slow grind up to, oh, now I finally have all the cool stuff and now I can finally explore and now I can, and I really hope I don't spend 25 30 hours doing that only to beat it, and then it's like, oh, now you can go wherever you want, and it's like, in other words, I don't
want to go anywhere anymore. I already beat the game.
No, I do. Yeah, but that's part of it. You want that carrot on a stick, but yeah, there's been a lot of games that I've played that they hold all the good stuff, and then it's like new game plus or go where you want, and like anyway, hopefully from hour 3, you're getting into the complexities of it. That's what I'm getting at. But it looks great. I mean, it looks beautiful.
It does look good.
It is looking very good.
Better than I thought. And, I know on consoles it is going to be targeting 30 frames is the report, which...
It is
that seems fair, honestly.
Looking at
the visuals.
Yeah. It's a bummer that they don't have a performance mode, though.
Right, where you can opt into...
Run it at 480p.
Yeah, but they said it in the the gameplay showcase, the feature about the global illumination system and all that, and they said we want it all. That was it. It was a kind of a trick of how to tell the audience, yeah, we're not gonna hit 60. Of course, like I assume they had that discussion, and maybe there will be a performance mode at some point, but it was a good way to do it. A good, like, we want it all. So if you want it all, it's only 30 frames on console. I thought that was a really interesting way to try to trick people into thinking that you should be excited for 30 frames.
The combat was looking pretty fun too. So like 30 does kind of hurt. Yeah. Like all the jumping
combat
around
was
and
actually
stuff.
looking way better than their combat usually looks. And the good news is that the recommended specs, the minimum specs for PC are actually not too bad. They're pretty reasonable. The recommended for graphics card is a 2080.
Well, that's pretty high.
That's recommended. And then the CPU is an i5, which is very
depends
reasonable.
on what generation of
depends
i5.
on which one.
It's a new generation of i5.
Yeah.
But seeing games that have come out recently where they're like, you need a 4080, you need an i9, and I'm like, seeing these specs,
flux
I was like,
capacitor.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty excited at least to check it out. The rest of the Xbox conference was all trailers, though. There was no gameplay in the rest of it. And some of the games look cool, like the trailers look cool, but like Fable, like the trailer was funny, and like I was having a good time watching the trailer, but I'm like, are they going to show any gameplay in this?
Yeah. You're muted, Frame. Oh, your audio.
I'll lip read for Fran. Motherfucker.
That was
damn, Fran. It's a family show.
Is it working now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow, that's Discord. Only on these calls is that a problem. Bizarre. What I was saying is, for clarity, there was gameplay in the trailers and stuff. Not all of them.
Some of them. Yeah.
So there was gameplay, but there was no like gameplay demo space in almost anything else. I don't even know if there was anything else. But like, for example, Avowed finally showed gameplay, which was awesome. And I was excited to see that. But it wasn't like really showing you more than like a quick clip of like a in-engine or in-game thing, right?
Yeah.
That was my main kind of feedback when people were from the Xbox team were, it's not even feedback, but they were asking like, how did we do? And I was like, yeah, there were some games here that are announced that I'm absolutely interested in, but it's kind of hard for me to tell with zero gameplay. Like Star Wars Outlaws had zero gameplay. We did get gameplay today at
We got
Ubisoft,
it today.
At the Ubisoft
but the initial
conference.
trailer, I was like, yeah, sure. That's as far as I can go. I'm like, yeah, this looks pretty cool. Same thing with the what's that game called? South of Midnight.
Yeah.
South of Midnight, which is the game that's set in the deep South, Louisiana, where you're kind of fighting these mythical creatures. That looks really cool. I love the direction they're going with that. How many games do we have that are set in the deep South where it's an action adventure game and you're fighting these monsters? Not many.
Is it an action adventure game?
It is listed as an action adventure.
Okay.
Third-person action adventure.
All right, cool.
Yep.
The studio calls it a wide linear, whatever that was going to be. They did make We Happy Few. So yeah, that's the thing. Like with that reveal, stylistically, I thought awesome, kind of nailed like a really exciting vibe, like Watt's saying. But it tells me nothing about the gameplay, actually.
Right.
Could you, like, if you were to name a third-person action adventure right now, and I asked you guys to name like 5 of them, they'd probably all be like very different.
Very true.
Yeah, like Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and then it's like Assassin's Creed, and it's like the gameplay
God
experience
of War
between.
is also
God of War.
but then you also have like Dark Souls, which would also be an action adventure.
And from the looks of it, Star Wars Outlaws,
right?
So
yes, also an action third person.
But meaning those are like sprawling, huge, massive games by comparison, and like we'll see what this is. But I love the stylistic direction, but. That, to me, that was one of those where Microsoft did do a really good job of packing in. We've got exclusive studios, like we've been talking about. They are making stuff, and they had to do stuff like this. Without it, like if you were to recap their first-party stuff, you would have seen Starfield, Forza's coming out. There's an expansion pack, I think, for Microsoft Flight Simulator.
That's a new
game. Then they're like, no, wait. Well, there's both. So in 2023, I think aren't they adding some to it? But then that was the segue into 2024 is a brand new, and that thing looks dope. But meaning that's about it in terms of upcoming like gameplay stuff. And then you look into 2024, and it's like, well, Avowed's coming out. We don't know when South of Midnight's coming out. Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 with all this cool stuff like. It's got like, construction in it and experimental flights like going around tornadoes. It looks dope. But without that, it's just like Starfield and Forza Motorsport for the most part this year. So they kind of had to pack in these things from the first party studios.
I think they did a good job of hitting a lot of different types of games. Like, even though, I can see these games and go, yeah, cool, but, I need gameplay. They did hit lots of different types, lots of different styles. So I definitely appreciated that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm still trying to like reflect on it. Oh, well, actually we missed as well. Like Fable was another one without the gameplay, but that was a super exciting way to start the conference.
It was a good way to start.
Totally.
I really liked the teaser.
Yeah, it was really it was really funny, and it was really surprising, because you didn't know you were like talking to the giant at first.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Speaking of Star Wars Outlaws, we did get gameplay at the Ubisoft like 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
What'd you guys think?
I'm more excited at this than I think any other game on the horizon right now. What they showed of this game hit all of the sweet spots for me, especially when you get in the ship and you fly it into outer space through the atmosphere and immediately get into battle with TIE fighters, and then you plot your coordinates for hyperdrive and you fly away. I was like, oh man, that whole sequence looks so much fun. They had a villain who I hated already. They had it looked like pretty fun shooting. We'll have to see. It's kind of like cover based kind of shooting, a little bit
very stealth, and then when you don't want to use it, which makes sense because it's like you're doing heists, right? So I can assume that your whole thing is that you're going to want to kind of sneak in there.
Yeah, I mean, and think about how many shots of Star Wars is like, Han Solo up against the side of a wall and a corner shooting around it. So it actually does fit.
Totally works.
From the overall studio that brings you Division and stuff, right? And so it shouldn't, I think, surprise us that there's some cover-based, stealth-based.
Yeah,
but it was
I didn't know that. That actually makes me more excited because I really like what they did with Division 2.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's not necessarily that development team or pieces of that, but overall it's massive. And the engine, it's got the word drop or drip in it. I just escaped me. But that engine is looking good.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, we don't know for sure how it's gonna run, but they seem boldly showing it running at 4K, really slick and just beautiful visuals. So
the whole environment where she was kind of doing the heist, it looks like this chop shop for spaceships. Yeah, they had pieces of TIE wings lying on the floor and a A-wing in the middle. It was just oh man, this is really hitting a lot of cool stuff.
It's open world, which
is it? Was it open world?
It is open world.
Okay.
It's confirmed as open world.
Oh, man, that could be really cool. I wonder if space is going to be open as well. I wasn't sure if, you go out into space and you're just, kind of in this little bubble, or
I
if
think
you
it's
just,
more that.
fly around.
We don't know. I don't know. That's just been interviews. And full disclosure, right, again, Ubisoft just happened. We just were catching a few pieces of it, but then Capcom is happening after we recorded this, so we don't know what happened at Capcom.
If there's Monster Hunter in there, take this as oh my god, I can't believe they announced the next Monster Hunter. Jesus.
Resident Evil 9 shows up, or whatever it's gonna be.
Oh my god, I can't believe Ryu's in Destiny. Wow, I didn't see that coming.
But yeah, I mean, the game looks actually way more up close and just cinematic than I thought it was going to, and I knew it wasn't going to be like Division because they said specifically, just because we're making Star Wars and even Avatar, which also showed up in here, doesn't mean that we're making more Division games, and it was just way more sort of cinematic and close up. But yeah, I thought the demo was awesome. What Breyer nailed it. What they wanted to show us was it kind of tricked you into thinking, it's this third person mission shooter, and then you hop out of the chop shop onto a speeder in I'd say semi-open world that. I always wonder when you're on a planet if you really is open world, you go everywhere, but to some degree it's probably Star Wars Jedi Survivor in that sense. But anyway, you hop on a speeder, you go to town, you talk to somebody, you pick up a new mission, but then you got to get off the planet. So you take off, and then you hyperdrive to the next planet.
Through the atmosphere in No Man's Sky, which is
seamless right now. I hope that truly is working fine and all delivers. You can see they use this, the fog of the clouds to load. But that was great. It was perfect. It looked brilliant. Your HUD comes up in the spaceship, and I was like, no, wait, you can, fly and shoot. in space, and then hyper drive warp to the next place. But that's what it seems like. It seems like you're going to be in these moments and missions on these planets and from planet to planet to planet. But they showed all these different planets and outposts, and I was like, this looks really cool.
And you're going to be able to like jump around in the open world and be like, oh, this guy's got a bounty for me. You're going to go do this one. That's not like a part of the main story, which is also very exciting. And I love the little guy, the little fellow running around,
little furry lizard. I love them. He's so cute. You know,
the only problem is I probably won't like this game.
I feel like that's becoming a trope, like the little like buddy, the little Star Wars buddy.
The little buddy is great.
But I don't care. I love it every time.
I don't care. I love it every time. Yeah, this game is doing so many things that I really like, but I fundamentally know that I will not enjoy the game. I really don't enjoy. I mean, I don't like God of War. I don't like a lot of these kind of story cinematic games. I'm all about combat, and not many of these games have combat that really hits for me.
Got ya.
And if the combat doesn't hit, then it's really hard for me to get invested. But I think but this game is an exciting game. Open world Star Wars, like being an outlaw, is very, very, very cool.
Yeah. I was instantly
really
attracted to the main character. Like, she was very compelling, like right off the bat. I was like, okay, that's great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Let's
do this. It was a heck of a demo. I mean, it definitely sold me on. They have all the right components. It's looking really good at this stage, and it's out next year. There were reports from internal, but only a couple sources on that, and we'll see. But saying that it won't be ready for next year, it needs more time. But I think with that, any game that has this much potential is always going to need more time. And like, I would also happily wait. I don't want to wait, but if I got to wait until early 2025, like for them to nail this, it looks awesome. But yeah, it seems to be a third person shooter in terms of like the combat, but then it's got the travel on the bike, it's got the travel in the ships. But I feel that's what I'm wondering, like when you watch it, it was this really well edited sequence, but what happens when you open that up? Like, what are you doing most of the time?
Good point.
Are you walking around accepting missions more like in a Watch Dogs and GTA sense, or are you in this more funneled in thing that it's always kind of taking you down the speed of what we saw? And probably the former.
It's hard to imagine they maintain that speed. Like,
that was
hard.
Amazing.
But
it looks really good.
Excited for that though. I can't wait.
The art direction looks dope.
Star Wars fans are eating good right now, right? Like, there's a lot of good Star Wars stuff right now.
Yeah. Yep. Unlike Lord of the Rings fans.
Not
they
starving.
Got an MMO
starving
coming,
in the darkness.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, but Gollum.
Dang, man. Gollum was real bad.
Yeah, that TV show was not great either.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, the Ubisoft conference also had a couple other things. I don't know if we're talking about any of that or.
Well, they had a lot of sound issues. That was what I saw most of.
We have so much stuff. So before we jump to today, we first had the Summer Game Fest.
Oh yeah, we forgot about that.
The big thing from that was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth not only it's got a gameplay, they had the HUD in there.
Yeah.
Thank you. They also had a release window, which is January or early 2024.
They showed the open world, which was beautiful, like really good looking. I was impressed because the remake I thought looked good, but not like great,
Yeah, this drops. It's still a console exclusive for PlayStation, right? I think it's. I always forget if it's also going to be on PC at the same time. But the point, it's next gen, new gen, and so with that, they should be able to do more. And it looks freaking good.
Like, there's a lot of speculation, like what were they going to do when these characters leave Midgard? Like, are they going to do an open world? Like, that's what they did in the original. So. And like to see all that come to fruition, to see like the characters are kind of like wandering around an open world, very cool looking.
Yeah, and then towards the end there, Sephiroth being like, "Who are you? I killed her," talking to Tifa, which is kind of really cool. How they're gonna do the twist because, I mean, can we spoil the original Final Fantasy VII by now?
It's funny, I beat it.
No, all right. Well, someone else dies and they ain't dead, so we'll see what happens.
A lot of people died, right?
A lot of people die. Someone dies.
Final Fantasy's all about that.
And I'm interested to see how they do all of that. Because clearly they've got the different time stuff going on.
Yeah.
You got Zach in there at the same time as Cloud, which didn't happen.
Right.
So this one is going to be very exciting.
God, there's
Yeah,
a lot
so-
of Final Fantasy to be playing right now.
Yeah, I really liked the remake and Intergrade overall, but they also just were swamped, at least for me. I know they were trying to stay true to the original, but like some of the fetch quest stuff and like the slowness of the town, even though there was some really cute stuff in there and that very like, you know, square type stuff. It's another example of like where games sometimes have these really cool little side missions and other things, and you may not stumble upon them at the right time, and then you're like fetch questing and like so
Go find
again, I hope
children around this town.
Yeah.
It could be
exactly.
Yeah.
I hope that they clean up the pace of again like that. But I mean, it is Square, and like they normally don't. You're gonna have to do some of that. Those are my least favorite parts where I felt it really dragged.
Yeah.
But what they were able to accomplish when you are in the middle of a battle and they're going to real time CGI, that is, sorry, not real time, but in real time, they are cutting between the battle and setting up this new moment, like with story moments in the middle of the battle. It's like totally cinematic. I mean, for me, I still have played very few games that achieved what Final Fantasy VII Remake did with those moments, and that's why I was already excited about this. But I also really like the combat system.
Yeah, it was fun.
And we'll see. It looks like they're keeping most of it the same, and you can tweak it in a few different ways. But I'm definitely super excited. That game was stellar. The first one, the remake.
Yeah.
The second, whatever you call it now. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
The other thing from the Summer Game Fest that at least I was excited about, which I went on the internet and realized people ain't excited about it, is
Marvel
Prince of Persia.
Snap. Oh. No.
Sorry, what did you say, Watts?
Prince of Persia.
Oh,
the
people
new
aren't
Prince
excited?
of Persia game.
This game
So
looks awesome.
I
I am.
understand that people were expecting a Sands of Time remake, and
Yeah.
that's what they've been talking about for a long time. So
Right.
when Prince of Persia popped up and they were like, this isn't the Sands of Time remake, I understand those people being disappointed. Absolutely.
But that's still
But there's-
coming, right? This isn't a replacement of that.
It's not a replacement
yeah,
of
this
it.
is in
no.
addition.
But the stuff about how like
the internet
people
sucks.
hate 2D games, they hate that they used hip hop in the trailer. I was like, I can't get on board with any of what you guys are
Just
saying.
watch the. Yeah, I mean,
that trailer is so awesome.
It was
Yeah.
awesome. It was great.
Yeah, I mean, they showed a bunch of new gameplay today at the Ubisoft conference,
Yeah.
and yeah, it looks awesome. Tons of cool abilities. I mean, it's like being mad about Metroid Dread because you want Metroid Prime 4, and I do want Metroid, but like Metroid Dread was amazing.
Yeah.
And why would you be mad about that?
Yeah.
I mean, this is
Man.
the Metroid Dread of Prince of Persia from the looks of it.
Yeah, it's made
So you should
by
get
some
excited.
incredible people behind like some incredible platforming games. The combat looks fantastic. The visuals look great. Like I
Yeah.
saw this, and this was one of the things that I was most excited about from all of this.
Traversal looked really fun too. Like the
Yeah,
the
Looked
presentation just looked really nice too.
It looked
Like,
clean.
really high
yeah, that
fidelity.
2.5D super high polish.
Yeah, really
Mhm.
colorful, but also like kind of sticking with that source material in a way that I thought really fit. I did see that like you're not actually the Prince of Persia in this game. You're like the Prince of Persia has been kidnapped. You know, like a god in this world, and this is like a mystical realm that you're in. So they can really go crazy
We're
with it.
saving the princess.
We're saving the
Let's go.
prince. Yeah, yeah. Which I don't know. That's fun and like it wide open for like any kind of powers or abilities that you want to have because you're a god.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. And
No,
I like
it
2D
looks
games.
really good.
I do as well. I'm like we usually only see those from indie developers recently, so seeing like a AAA studio take on a brand new 2.5D side scroller is really exciting to me because this looks like if you've played indie games in that way, like some of them look fantastic, but putting them against this, you can see a little bit more polish in kind of everything that we saw with Prince of Persia.
Yeah, you just watch the combat from today's show at the Ubisoft Forward show. If that doesn't sell you on it, you just don't like those types of games, which is fine.
That's
But
fair.
it
But don't
looks
shit on it
awesome. Again,
because it's not Sands of Time.
yeah, it's like
It's like I can understand when a game like looks like a really solid game, but it's not my kind of game.
Yeah,
yeah. You
You're not
mentioned
gonna
that
love
for
it.
Star
I
Wars
know,
Outlaws.
yeah.
Very
yeah.
I got old and I'm in a very specific window. I'm really easy to shop for. I'm very, very obvious what I like.
It looks awesome. I'm definitely excited about it.
I don't
What
know if there was
else?
much else in the Summer
Well,
Game Fest. Was there? Was there?
well,
I might
Alan
be
Wake 2. I
mistaken.
mean, actually, that's the biggest
Oh,
thing. We
yes.
didn't talk about it. We didn't, right? No,
Alan Wake 2. Yeah, the
the
gameplay
gameplay.
did look
Holy
incredible. It
crap!
did look really, really good.
It's actually without I haven't put together the list, but it's definitely in my top 5 most anticipated games. Period, flat out.
Really?
It looks incredible. I thought
Yeah, it
that
looks
demo. I've always been a fan of Remedy. Original creators of Max Payne. They don't own that license anymore. They went on to do Control and, of course, Alan Wake and Quantum Break, but all of those worlds mixed together. But seeing that they took Alan Wake, which kind of was, I mean, it was like, yeah, third-person action adventure where you
Mm-hmm.
were like this detective going through towns with like your flashlight and like melting enemies, but it had a certain pace to it many, many years ago. There is a remaster you can play, but it's a pretty old game. And then they went on to do Control. And anyway, seeing that they landed on like a Resident Evil kind of inspired survival horror. They said it's a survival
Mm-hmm.
horror, but mixing it with Remedy's style of just incredible, beautiful gameplay. Atmospheric is the word I'm looking for. So, and you're gonna be like a detective, and think of like a Resident Evil game like that. That's just like more serious and moody, and focused
Yeah.
on both having that. You still have the flashlight where you melt weak spots. Take their shield down, and then you have to shoot them. And anyway, I'm super excited. It looks incredible.
Should I play the
concept
first
of
one
this is
before I
cool.
play this one?
Nah, you won't
No.
have to.
No,
Okay.
And
no,
they'll be
I think
different.
it'll be fine.
The first one's
Um,
pretty old, but I mean, I would if you're that type of person. I don't think it's that long if you power through it. It's
Maybe I'll
neat.
just read a
but it's
Wikipedia
old.
about the story.
Yeah, you won't have to.
The concept for Alan Wake 2 is really cool because you're switching between these two characters, one being Alan Wake and one being this FBI detective. And they said that you can either switch between them all the time or you can play as just one, like the whole time, pretty
Oh, neat.
much. Which is very cool. And it's kind of like Alan is like writing a story, right? He's writing this story, and then what he's writing is materializing in the FBI detective's world. So you're trying to like figure out what's going on with that. Very cool. I love the concept. It looked great. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm
Very
very
spooky
excited.
though.
It's too
Yeah.
spooky? Is it going to be like,
It's real spooky. I'm gonna scream the whole time. It's coming out just in time for Halloween too, so it's a
Oh,
good Halloween game.
boy.
Yeah, Brian, do you like survival horrors?
Resident Evil is about as scary as I like it to get.
Yeah, you're
Anything
Oh.
past that, and
This
I'm
will be
like,
even more scary.
Yeah.
They actually, I don't know, did they say? I thought they said, I have to source this and check it, but that it had influences like True Detective and Seven, and like, so again,
Oh,
take
man.
Resident Evil, but put it in a more like HBO cinematic,
Those are a lot of
more
things I
serious
like.
type universe. Yeah, and again, like, did you like Control? Did you play Control?
Yeah, I loved Control.
That's
I
the
mean,
same world, by the way. People
yeah.
are actually recommending that you play Control before you
You
play
definitely
Alan Wake
should.
2.
Interesting. There was
And-
So
DLC,
you're
I
set.
think, for Control too.
Play
but
the
I don't think I
DLC
played
too,
that.
because it plays into some of the crossover stuff.
All right.
Mm.
Yeah, Control, like with the trippy like motel that you go to, and like there's so much like just trippiness that goes on, and I like the combat too. The combat was pretty fun once you get all the abilities.
Yeah, but that's October 17th, I think.
Oh man, this year is shaping up, man.
The September, October is like mega super duper duper mega packed.
Cool.
Very, very
I'm
packed.
okay with that.
A quick note, by the way, in question. One thing I was still very surprised by: where is Call of Duty? I expected it to show up at the Xbox show.
Yeah.
Especially since they might purchase Activision. We saw Overwatch content in there, and then like
There was
normally, absolutely before the E3 time, which is now, we have seen the next Call of Duty.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Interesting.
They're obviously, I think
Are
they're
they
putting
having
together.
their own thing?
I think they must be having a big event in July or August for like, okay, it's done. We got the esports and the content creators here, and like they're probably already, people might already know about it. I don't. But anyway, that one surprised me. It's just very unusual that we don't know about.
We
the
have a
next
better
Call of
shooter
Duty.
that was in Ubisoft, which we'll get to, so don't worry about it.
Oh,
What was that?
We'll talk about it in a minute. We got to hit the Xbox
Wait.
first, Briar.
Oh, my
Mhm.
bad. Go ahead.
yeah. I mean, there is still a lot we haven't talked about. It's hard because there's so
Um,
much.
There's a lot.
Well, there's
yeah.
some that are like just. So for me,
Yeah,
ones
what
that I
else?
thought were like, okay, we have 33 Immortals, which is by Thunder
Oh.
Lotus, the people behind Spiritfarer. They did
Mm-hmm.
make combat games before Spiritfarer. And they're doing something interesting with this in that it's a 33-player co-op roguelike where you play with 33 people to fight your way through hordes of monsters and defeat gods. Which
Yeah.
is a cool concept of how it's going to work playing with 32 other people.
Yep. Yeah, a
But
little
the art looks great.
Hades-esque
Yeah,
kind of
very
style to it.
Hades-esque looking. Yep. Their art is always phenomenal. Like, their games always look great. So I'm not surprised on that one.
Yeah, it's one of those we're just gonna have to play. Like, because the gameplay is cut up, and I don't know if there was any hands-on previews. I'll look for that while we talk. But yeah, like it's just hard to tell. Like, what's it gonna be like? How do you know what all 32 other people are doing? You can't be on comms when there's 32 other people, so it can't be based on that. But they basically say raid. It's like these raids in that kind of. So it's interesting.
Definitely interesting. The one that I was most interested in out of the entire Xbox thing was definitely Path of the Goddess. We can use the other portion of the name, but everyone will forget. So we're just gonna do Path of the Goddess.
Yeah.
This is Capcom's new game that a lot of people thought was Onimusha before.
I totally did it for a second. I was getting so excited.
Yeah.
Maybe today.
It's trippy. Like, people are watching it and they're like, what is going on?
Yeah.
But it seems like you're this kind of magical fighter. There's a lot of hands and opening of rib cages and stuff and flowers.
Very vivid, look to it. That's neat.
Yeah.
But it seems like you're this mystical fighter fighting these very creepy yokai. And then at the end of the trailer, it looked like after you finished fighting them, you kind of cleansed the area. Sure. And it also looks like there's co-op of some kind. But just the visuals of it, very creepy. Combat looked like it could be fun. But yeah, the visuals definitely got me.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that one. Finding out more about it. We really don't know anything. They haven't even put out like a blog post or anything about it either.
Mm-hmm.
It's just,
Yeah. Are any of you guys Persona experts or fans? Like, I know people are super.
I'm not an expert. No.
I know.
Not at all.
But that was big. Metaphor.
It was big.
I went. I'd have to double check again. I had checked out the website, and it seems like it's a console exclusive because we don't know for how long, and I don't know if it's been reported, but it didn't list the PlayStation logo at all, which is very surprising. So that's why, like, it may not be, but it's odd to list like a new game title, and then it was in the Xbox conference, so it might be just like PlayStation does with Final Fantasy and other things. They get something for months or a year.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if that's been reported yet. But anyway, people were excited for that one. I couldn't comment on it.
Persona is great. The music is great. And I'm sure people are happy. The only thing I saw that people weren't happy about is they're not, in the remake, they're not including like any of the DLC stuff. So people were like, well, why do I want to play the base game? I want to play like the whole thing that you added. That's really the only thing that I heard that was
interesting.
I'm looking around. Reports are still it's for PC and Xbox.
Did you guys see Dungeons and Hinterberg? This game looked kind of neat looking. It was kind of like a lo-fi girl goes on a Zelda adventure kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yes, I did see that.
That looked really fun. It looked like there's like a ton of different like kind of gameplay types in there. It's kind of like a modern world that you're inhabiting, but I don't know. It just looked like
it's like that cel-shaded comic strip. That's right. I think it had a little bit of like the dot printer look to it. I think there was a lot of stuff actually there. Now that you're bringing up everything. Yeah, that one looked. I thought it looked neat. I was more excited for Towerborn.
That looked good.
Forget if they made some before, but that was just climbing around this really like beautiful world.
So did that look like kind of like a belt scrolling beat 'em up? Like I wasn't real sure what the gameplay they were showing was in that.
Oh no, wait. Towerborn is the Golden Axe looking one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sorry,
my bad. You were talking about Descent, right?
I was talking about Descent. Yes.
Oh, okay.
That game does look cool. That's the one where you're climbing. It's like a climbing game.
Oh, okay. That looked like a VR game.
Oh, it could be. Yeah, no, it's not. But yeah, like cool. It was very like
unique,
climbing inspired. You had to climb up these huge sprawling cliffs and very carefully, very colorful. But anyway, I personally was excited by that one and the look. But actually, in my mind, I was saying don't forget to talk about the Golden Axe looking one. Towerborn.
You like Golden Axe.
is from Banner Saga creators. That game looks dope. I don't know if you guys like games like that, but it looks really nice.
I do. Yeah. My problem with those like Golden Axe type games is I get bored with them after a while, unless like I thought with was it Streets of Rage 4? I liked that one because the gameplay was deep enough. They added so many mechanics to the game that I found that I was like learning the game as I went for much longer than kind of the old school ones that used to be in the arcade or on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
So hopefully this continues that.
Yeah, I don't have time to play games like that, but I thought it looked really slick, and I liked that it was, in a world of these highly detailed, 3D worlds, etc. It was just this really tight looking.
Looked very cool.
Yeah, like side-scrolling hack and slash, beat 'em up, level by level, probably. IGN's reporting here as an ever-changing world.
Okay.
So I don't know what. There's probably more details on that, but it looks neat.
I did like Banner Saga, so I'm willing to give it a shot for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any Yakuza fans?
Yes.
Okay. Did you like that Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth reveal?
Yeah.
That was pretty funny. I just thought at the
funny.
minimum it was funny.
And to me, they don't have to really show gameplay for Yakuza, right? You know what the gameplay is going to be because it's just going to be more Yakuza. Well,
yeah.
I guess because was it Like a Dragon or it was Like a Dragon, right? The last one.
Yeah.
With that character.
Yeah.
Where they changed it to be more of an RPG as opposed to like an action beat 'em up. So I guess that is questionable what kind of gameplay there's going to be. But just introducing like this guy's back, more Yakuza. Now it's a fish out of water story. He just shows up naked on the beach. That was hilarious. Like I'm in because I love that character so much. Right? He's just so endearing. I can't wait to spend more time with him.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that like that series. I've always wanted to check it out. It's on my list.
Well, the Like a Dragon was kind of like a new beginning, so like perfect place to jump in. So this is just like instead of having like 9 games to go back and play.
Right. So just do that and then do hopefully Infinite Wealth, and then you'll be set up.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
The other game that caught my eye was Clockwork Revolution.
Yes.
Which is a time-bending steampunk first-person RPG. And on Twitter, they were like really specific that this is an RPG. It's like the nitty-gritty, super RPG. So this just looks fun. It just looks like it'll be a good game. Shooting looks like it seems pretty good. Excited to see how you do all the time stuff, like what you're actually doing with the time stuff. But the visuals are really what caught my eye, right?
Yeah,
it's very
stuff.
Yeah. It's a very, very cool visual style.
Yeah, it really gave me vibes of BioShock Infinite, like hardcore, even like the music.
Yeah, because of the style.
Yeah.
I don't expect the gameplay to be like that, but but yeah, this was another one. They said it's in due time is when it comes out. Like another one they just kind of had to show. It was clever.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to wait, but yeah, it's from In Exile. Which actually that studio's led by was it Brian Fargo, I think, but you'll appreciate Briar that he was one of the executive producers, directors on the original Fallouts and old games like Rock and Roll Racing, like so OG, but yeah, like tons of like RPG work from
Briar like racing.
But that's the Wasteland studio. It's what else did they make recently? But yeah, Wasteland 3 and 2 but all about RPG stuff. So I expect it to be a little closer to like Fallout New Vegas-y.
Now I'm more excited for this game.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we don't know what it'll be like exactly, but that's my guess. It'll be pretty much like a Fallout kind of with rewind time, type vibe. So, but it might be a few years. So.
That's okay. I can wait.
Yep.
What'd you think of Mortal Kombat, Brian?
Mortal Kombat looks dope as hell. I just like Mortal Kombat. I don't know what.
Yeah.
It's like it's almost every time they come out with a new one. That's not true because there was some dark years for Mortal Kombat. But like the last few they've done, 9, 10, 11, were all amazing. I like how they're kind of going. Like they're resetting the timeline with Liu Kang being like the god of fire, and like
Yep.
Raiden is now just like an average Joe who's got to like prove himself just like everybody else. I like how they got this like kind of, I can't remember what the like an assist system where you can call in another fighter to like
cameo.
help you. Yeah, cameo, help you do combos or like get somebody off you, like combo break. It looks super high fidelity and really nice, like real good. But I mean, they're hitting on all cylinders over there. I can't wait to play through the story. I don't really play these games competitively. I just like to play the stories.
So you might know the answer to this question. When you see the stages they're showing, which are beautiful, and they're showing them fighting in the gameplay, they are setting them up as well with these like cutscenes and story development. Was that in 11, and how does that work? In other words, does every stage have like its own cutscene before you play every time, or is that just like a story mode thing where?
Yeah, it the way it works is it plays like, you know, like 5 minutes worth of movie, and then like wherever you're at in the movie, two people get mad enough that they now have to fight, and that's where you are. It's like it seamlessly transitions from the cutscene into the fight with and you're here, right? Like,
but with all the different characters, and that's what I was wondering. Was it like, oh, that's just part of the story, and they make you play these different characters that show up in these stages, and therefore you fight?
So like you won't pick one character at the beginning of the game and play all the way through. It just kind of bounces you from character to character.
Okay. Yeah, and it's funny. I played when they originally launched like story mode way back in the day, and I just couldn't remember. And that's kind of how they did it back then, I think. So I'm excited about that aspect. That's something I can jump in and out of. But as with like Street Fighter and fighting games, I'm like, if I don't, we talked about it on the last show. If I don't got a joystick, or what do they call the new style of thing again, Briar?
The D-pad.
The leverless, the hitbox.
The leverless boxes.
I just call it stickless.
Yeah,
stickless.
Stickless.
You got to say that just right. But yeah, like without access to all that and the skill, I'm like, I'm not gonna try to fight, because it's embarrassing otherwise.
Oh, so I don't even play Mortal Kombat. Like I've said this before, but I just play through the story because the story is so fun. It's usually like an 8 to 10 hour campaign, and they're just bombastic. Like, they go absolutely balls to the wall with these stories, right? Like you expect them to do, because I mean, those trailers, you can't even show these trailers on YouTube, on your YouTube channel. You'll get demonetized because they're so gory.
Oh, because that's like the main. Yep. Oh, it's just because they're so gory. Oh.
Yeah, because of the fatalities.
The fatalities.
So over the top.
Yeah.
It's just good fun if you're into that kind of thing, and I'd highly recommend, like, if you haven't ever played any of these, it's super cheap to buy them on like Steam or like the old ones, like 9, 10, 11, and they're just mindless good time.
Okay, September 19th. Somehow
Make
me take a break.
There's a lot of September.
Briar, hold me to it. Make me take a break from Starfield and be like, Fran, have you played like a few hours Mortal Kombat?
Yeah,
make me, because I've always loved the franchise. I gave up on both this and Street Fighter. I'm like, that's embarrassing. Because it's not because I feel like I can't get any good at it. It's just, I need to spend my time in these games, and if it's either 100 hours or nothing.
It's tough, right? Because you feel like compelled, like, well, I need to make this like a full-time job if I'm going to get good enough to satisfy my urge to be good.
Exactly.
But it's also fun to just jump online for an hour and just, they got skill-based matchmaking, so it's like you're gonna fight people who are of your skill level.
But it looked dope. By the way, Forza Motorsport, a time thing, I would love it.
Liking cars.
I do like cars.
Were you excited by Forza Motorsport? This October.
We'll see.
That's like the more simmy,
Yeah, Gran Turismo still feels pretty fresh to me. So it's like, I don't know, like I'm not like salivating for like another like.
You
like
feel satiated.
Yeah. I feel pretty good. Plus, Forza Horizon, was it 5 that just came out on the Xbox? Yeah. That's still pretty fresh. They also, Ubisoft showed off another crew game, which I can't believe they're making another crew game. But yeah, I'm not like,
you're not like
at the bit.
salivating. Okay.
Well, it's like
that's like October 10th.
And driving games are kind of like, they've kind of nailed them at this point, right? It's not like
turn 10, yeah.
The difference between Forza and Gran Turismo to me is mostly just about like what tracks are there and what cars are there. It's not like the driving doesn't actually feel a whole lot different.
Yeah, because I mean, it's interesting that they're like hardcore sim, and because that's a good point. They've gotten so good, you just have to spend so much time mastering. But the
Yeah.
detail and how like Polyphony, the Gran Turismo studio is so unique in how they approach just all the little details, and
Yeah.
but also so is Turn 10. And I think if you're a racing fan, you're in between those releases, you're usually eating pretty good.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's October 10th. I would love to play it, but I will never have time. I'm not going to pretend,
Yeah.
but I would love to.
Ubisoft. We've talked about some stuff that was in there already. One of the things that I'm looking forward to is X Defiant, which is made
yeah?
by the old school Call of Duty guys. And their whole thing is that
Ruben.
they want to make a shooter that you enjoyed when you were, younger. That's what they want to make. So they are having an open beta from June 21st to 23rd. And then they've also said that they're releasing later this summer, which is exciting.
Oh,
And
wow.
they've
Summer.
also did I was surprised. But they're having a new map every month. They're launching with 14 maps. They're adding new operators every season. So they're looking real good with what they're doing. And this is a game that I played the closed beta of. They had a million players in the closed beta, which is very cool.
Wow.
And
That's not very
I
closed.
loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. I
Yeah?
had so much fun. It feels like the Call of Duty that I really loved. And that has not been a thing that has existed in a
No.
very long time.
Yeah.
So it's got their big thing is there's no SBMM. Like they're just taking it straight back to the games you used to play, the Call of Duty you used to play. And it feels good. Shooting feels great. Movement feels good. The operators are fun and they're not like super OP.
Free to play.
Free to play. Yeah. Looking
So,
forward to it.
and because I didn't keep up with all the Call of Duties, I can't remember. Did some of the Call of Duties way back then have like those hero superpower moments like this has? Because that's what the operator powers that this has that you build
Yeah,
your alt.
not really.
So
Yeah,
that's
no.
the little Overwatch twist. And I didn't want to speak out of turn. I'm like, but they
Yeah.
are on top of that old school Call of Duty vibe. And it's from, Mark Rubin, who executive produced, I forget if it was, it's way back, like the 2012 Call of Duties, the 2014 Call of Duties. But yeah, it's that plus this little tinge of the Overwatch hero powers with like Splinter Cell characters and Division characters and
Yeah.
that other Ubisoft game I'm forgetting to mention.
That's
but,
the little taste of Ubisoft. They're like all the operators are kind of like from different games. So maybe we'll have the Outlaw operator, for the Star Wars game.
Yeah, right. If they get Star
The
Wars
Prince of
in this,
Persia
I'll eat my
operator.
hat. That'd be
Is
awesome.
this the one
though.
that had like the destructible environments?
No.
No. Okay.
I don't even know what game that is.
Can't remember what it was. I saw it in a video at some point.
But no, it looks like Brian. What's funny is the name is very forgettable right now. X Defiant, X and
Bad
D are
name.
capitalized. Originally,
Sounds like
it
something
was
I'd
Tom.
plug a mouse into and play on a PC or play on
they-
a PlayStation.
They originally revealed it as like showing some levels from Tom Clancy's X Defiant. As they originally were
Oh, they
billing it.
dropped Tom Clancy.
And they dropped that, and it had like sort of that graffiti in New York division kind of look, and you were like, "Oh, this is interesting," but you didn't know it was basically like looks like Call of Duty once you start playing it, but with this vibrancy of that, if it makes sense. So
Okay.
it's cool if you're into moment to moment PvP map based shooting. It's fast, it's fun. I had a ton of fun with the beta. I agree with Watts. Like it was refreshing.
Yeah.
It did. That's exactly how like a lot of my community talked about it as well, is that it felt really refreshing. It was like, oh my God, I didn't realize how much of this experience I was missing. I can jump in with any of my friends, any amount of my friends, doesn't matter. We're just going in and we're shooting, having fun. You respawn really fast. There is ranked as well, which is going to be a bit more slower and more careful with stuff. But yeah, that old school arena shooter experience is definitely there
Into it.
in X Defiant. Yeah, it's good.
There's.
Apparently, Bri was talking about the finals,
Oh, okay.
which I think is getting a beta very, very soon. I saw that before we got on the
Cool.
stream. I'm pretty sure they announced something like that, an open beta.
Yeah.
I
it
couldn't
was this
believe that Skull and Bones is back in the news, but Skull and Bones is getting a closed beta coming in August.
Yeah, it's not gonna be like a huge game, but they stuck with it and seemed like they like the core of what's there.
Yeah.
I'm still looking forward to it, but yeah, I think to set expectations, it's going to be probably more in line of like call it the For Honor of, Ubisoft type games, right? With this,
Okay.
really interesting multiplayer kind of setup, and I haven't looked too much into it. It seems it's more that than it is like it's Skull and Bones and it's this huge
All
AAA.
right.
Like it's not, so you got to set expectations. And I really loved For Honor. Actually, it was a great moment in time, and
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong, in my opinion, depending on what the price and the quality is, with having that. I mean, yeah, like X-Defiant is free to play. And so again, set expectation. It is not a multi-billion-dollar franchise like Call of Duty, but it's feeling pretty good in terms of just those maps. And so,
Oh, we forgot. Sea of Thieves is getting the
Monkey
Monkey
Island.
Monkey Island DLC, which I thought
That's
looked
neat.
awesome. And they got like Guybrush 3.0 right in there. Apparently, like the voice actors from the game are in
that's cool.
Sea of Thieves as well, which look fun. I don't know. I love Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, those missions are fun. Did I do those?
We
with
never
you
get
guys?
around to doing any missions because we
Remember
end up
Sea of
just, we
Thieves,
see
everybody?
a person on the open seas and we're like murder, and then we die over and over again. And then we get spawn camped and we keep dying.
Get
Good
Teft
times.
out of retirement so I can throw up
And
on
then we
him.
crash. And then we
If
lose
he
everything.
crashes that ship, I swear to God.
Oh,
We should though.
man.
But yeah, the missions have gotten quite good. The last one I played was the Pirates of the Caribbean stuff.
Yes.
So this was a while ago. But it literally they sort of recreated the ride as part of a mission, and
They
like so
do. It
that
is
stuff's
cool.
pretty cool. It's a good like get in, get out, and I think Monkey Island will be a bit like that too. So it looks good.
A game I must speak of.
City
I must.
Skylines.
Obviously. SnowRunner.
that?
Lies of P.
Oh, okay.
Lies of P.
Just make it for me.
This
Okay.
was this was like the biggest thing for Summer Game Fest for me because they showed Lies of P and then they were like, "Hey, you can play the demo right now."
Drop
And
it.
I was like, "Yes, please." I've played this demo for 4 hours. I'm still not done. It's a chunky
Interesting.
demo.
There's multiple bosses in it, right?
There's yeah, so you have like, and
2
that's where I thought it
chapters.
would end, where you kind of start, you get to see some of the basic stuff. They teach you some stuff about the game, and then you've got this boss, and I thought that was it. But no, there's like multiple places that you can go. And this is the game that everyone is like, look straight up like Bloodborne, very Bloodborne inspired.
Yeah.
It's made by a Korean company, which is very interesting because I think you'd look at that and go, wouldn't expect
French.
it. Although everyone is very beautiful. Everyone's very beautiful.
Yeah.
That's the giveaway. That's
Yeah,
the
exactly.
giveaway. That's the Korean.
That's how you know. Their skincare routine is just amazing.
So I've played 4 hours of the demo. I really, really liked it. So right at the beginning, you get to choose between like a kind of dex build, a strength build, and then a kind of middle balanced one. I went with the dex one. The cool thing that they're doing that is different to Bloodborne or Souls games is you can get a weapon, and the weapon has like a blade and a handle.
Yeah.
And you can
hilt.
change the blade to any blade and the handle to any handle, and that will change what the weapon does. It will change the abilities that it has and the way that it performs. It will change it from like slashing damage to blunt damage. It also scales off of different things similar to Dark Souls, right? Where you want your weapon to scale off of dexterity or strength, and you can change that scaling. So if you find like a big meaty weapon and you really love it, but you're a dex build, you can change it to scale more with
Just
dex. They don't call it
slap
dex in this game.
a
But
dex handle on there.
there you go.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it works. I thought
It
the
felt good.
combat, it was good. It looks great. This game performs so
It
well
runs
on my PC.
well.
What is going on? I was like, what is happening? My
Yeah, I
computer
know.
is 40 degrees.
Don't you even know it's 2023?
Yeah.
Get with the times.
Don't you know how to break a
40
game?
degrees.
Yeah.
What was going on? And it like the visuals look really good. It runs great on Steam Deck as well. This is a demo. It's not
Ooh.
coming out till September. And yeah, the combat I thought was really good. I think this was one of the most impressed I've been coming away from a demo. I was like, okay, yeah, this is exactly what I hoped it would be. And they've got this really cool theme of you are Pinocchio. So having a Souls-like experience in a Pinocchio world that's very close to the original Pinocchio story, which is dark and spooky.
For all you Pinocchio
and
snobs.
Bad. The bad world.
I prefer the Disney Pinocchio, frankly.
Well, that one is less abuse and horrifying.
Maybe that's why I like it better.
There's also a lying mechanic in this game. I don't fully know what lying does, but it definitely does affect
Liar.
gameplay.
She
It
does.
affects affects the game. It affects the game
Typical.
a lot.
Affects your nose.
So when you
I'll stop.
lie, your cogs start like freaking out.
Huh.
Anytime you lie, the music is like, duh, and your cogs like.
Huh.
So it's definitely affecting something. I don't know what it is, but yeah, you're living
How's
in a
your
world
cogs
where
go again?
sounds exactly like that.
This game
It
looks a lot better than it used to too. When they first showed this off, I think it was like 2 years ago when they first showed it. Right? Was it a couple years ago or was it last year?
A couple years ago sounds about right.
I thought it looked like a high-res PS2 game. Like it looked really sparse. Like the environments were like nice looking, but like not a whole lot of detail in it. Now I think it looks pretty good.
It does.
I
It
remember,
looks
but it
real
looks
good.
great. Yeah. I only played a little bit of it after a very long stream, but yeah, it's 2 chapters. You can just play the demo now. I don't know. Do we know when the demo is over with? I don't know off the top of my head.
I don't
But
know.
play it now. Make sure it's definitely worth a try if you're into Souls type games.
For sure.
And
I don't like playing demos.
yeah. By the way, the coolest thing in it is sharpening your weapon. I
Oh,
just
with
like
your
the
elbow?
feel of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have your little like metal Pinocchio arm or whatever, and you
Like a
just like
grinder
grind your weapon as the dirt. So it does have weapon durability, which is interesting.
It's an interesting thing. Yeah, it's another thing you're having
Keep you-
to kind of manage with
Yeah,
your
it'll
combat.
keep you on edge.
But it doesn't break. It just gets like you do less damage.
It
right?
can break.
Oh, you can break it and destroy it?
you ignore it. If you get your durability super low and well, first of all, you do not want to fight with low durability. It does nothing. It does nothing at all. So it can break if you just completely ignore it, I guess. But they also do have this item in the game which will instantly sharpen
Yeah.
it to max. So you don't, if you're in a boss battle and you've been doing it for a long time and your durability is getting low, you can just use this item that fills it up to the top. So you don't have to stop and try and sharpen your weapon like you're in Monster Hunter.
Yeah,
but yeah,
but
as long as you're sharpening after every fight, you definitely won't run into any problems.
I don't know. I mean, it's at the very beginning, so I don't think there's much durability, and I was also playing strength, but I swear I had something fully sharpened, and then I was like, I don't know if I was fighting the first boss or whatever, but it was already at like half or something, and I felt like, man, I better sharpen this up. So I don't know. I think they want that. They want you to be in the middle of a battle occasionally,
so,
not all the
yeah.
time. And you're like, crap. It's that Resident Evil old school. Like I have to lock myself in place for a second to reload or do whatever it is. And so, but it's terrifying to do it. So
It is.
yeah, I think it's got potential. It's just, as long as it's that balance of not being annoying.
And let me tell you, man, they put enemies behind walls all over this thing.
Oh, like jump out at you kind of thing?
Oh, yeah. There was like 8 of them.
That's
Every
mean.
wall, I was like, I know there's someone there.
Not a big fan. Just roll past everything.
Yeah.
Just have your
The
guard up the whole time.
Miyazaki, signature. Yeah, it fully takes unabashedly the formula of the Souls game. I mean, like that.
Absolutely.
When we
That's
say it's
okay.
Souls-like, they've embraced the idea that you can now make a Souls-like and not get crap for like, well, you just took everything that they do and you're redoing, because it's its own genre now, in full, in the same way of how Mario went on to inspire so many games, right? But
I really
but
like
yeah,
Pinocchio.
it looks good.
I
Looks
really
real good.
like it. You get to have Jiminy Cricket. He's in your pocket. He's talking to you. He's guiding you through
Wait,
the game.
is he?
Yeah.
Is that? Oh.
He's your lantern. And then
Oh,
every now
yeah,
and then
and
he'll
they-
talk to you. Yeah.
Oh, did you figure out? Maybe no spoilers for the people who are playing the demo.
Yeah.
They said something like there's sounds of cricket sounds or
Yes.
something. Did you
Yeah.
figure that out?
I did.
Oh, okay. I
What
wanted
was
to
it?
go back and listen.
There's a butterfly and you kill it.
Interesting. But yeah, they have like an audio cue or something in the world that you find. And
Yeah, and then also someone pointed this out to me. So there is a system for summoning an AI helper during a boss fight,
Oh, I'll be using
and the way that you summon them is with stardust. So someone was like, "When you wish upon a star," I was like, "Yes! Oh my God, Pinocchio!"
I didn't know you could do that. That's cool.
I love it. And fighting the donkey. Oh man, the donkey guy. And then you take his outfit. You get to wear a donkey head. I was wearing a donkey head with a boarding school outfit. That pleased me.
Yeah, I need to play the demo in full. I only played it for like an hour.
I'm not
was
gonna
a lot
play
of
the
fun.
demo. I want to just because I hate like playing the demo and then
coming out
playing the
real
first
soon.
like few hours of game and then having to replay that first few hours when the game comes out. So
It's
Yeah,
coming in
it's
September. It's
also
not that
September
far.
19th. It's the same day as Mortal Kombat, I
It is
think,
the
Briar,
same day
so
as Mortal Kombat.
that's okay. I don't have to play all the games the day they come out.
That's
They'll
a
still
And
very-
it
be
works
I
way
well
love
on
to
before.
hear
Steam
that.
Deck so far. So
I'll buy them a year
you can
later
also
and they'll
play
be
them.
half price.
Yeah.
Oh man, so many good games.
So
It's,
much.
whew. I don't know. Oh, and Final Fantasy 16 dropped their demo at 1 a.m. last night.
Yeah.
So
So get
That's
ready
When
for
does that
that
come out?
in a week and a half.
June 22nd.
Again, I'm not gonna play the demo.
It carries
well, this
over though.
demo, yeah,
Oh.
it does carry over. Your progress does
Okay.
carry over.
I'm
There you
gonna
go.
download it.
See? Time saver.
I'm really looking forward to 16. It looks really cool.
It does look good. Some people were saying like this could maybe be the Final Fantasy 7 for like the younger generation, right? Like us, we all have Final Fantasy 7 was the Final Fantasy that popped off and became like this massive thing over here.
Yeah.
People were like 16 could potentially be that with how freaking massive it is and how good it's looking.
Good. Hopefully it
We'll
keeps
see.
Square from talking about NFTs anymore.
Hopefully, yeah. Shut up. Yoshi P does not agree with you.
That's
Yoshi
right.
P don't want those. Yoshi P don't want those NFTs.
That it? We done?
I can't. Yeah,
I don't
mean,
know. The
No, we
Capcom
missed a
show's
bunch,
happening.
but
Yeah.
What did we
but
miss,
yeah.
Fran? Give us the
No,
us
no,
the
no.
lowdown.
I'm just
Give us the
saying in general.
fastness.
No, I don't have anything prepared. There was a lot of other stuff out there.
There
Yeah,
was the
Baldur's Gate
wholesome
3,
direct too.
end of August. That's exciting.
That's
What
a
else did I
big
have?
game too. Dang,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, I see. I told you. They did show Path of Exile 2 gameplay for all
They
you.
did.
Yeah.
Path of Exile is the game that you go to when you're like Diablo's too
When you're not playing
shallow.
Diablo.
I want to go somewhere that's got the beefy builds.
Yeah.
Beefy,
I mean,
juicy
Diablo
builds.
4 is pretty
Oh,
amazing.
No,
but I
Path
haven't
of
played.
Exile is a
know.
whole other world.
Yeah, I want to check it out. The gameplay looks solid, but
The visuals looked really good for Path of Exile too.
Path of Exile.
I
Is
thought
a cool game.
it looked very good.
Assassin's Creed
There's another
Nexus is a VR Assassin's Creed. That looked kind of neat. Only gonna be
Yeah.
on the Meta Quest though.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, if I had room for VR, I'd be more excited. But
Just with Meta Quest, you just play in the backyard. It's great. You get a little sun,
Yeah,
touch
my
grass,
backyard in
play
San
VR.
Francisco.
It's fun. You got parks. You definitely gonna get robbed if you got a VR helmet out of a park.
oh, that's right. Payday 3, by the way.
Oh,
Forgot
right,
that
yeah.
one. Yeah,
I've
Payday
never played a
3
Payday
is-
game.
About
They look
Payday.
so fun, but I've never gotten
neither.
around to it.
Yeah,
Never played
September
Payday.
21st.
September.
Ah, just so much. We did capture a lot of it, though.
We did capture a hell of a lot,
but-
actually, especially for an hour. It was
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't. Yeah, we didn't get to talk about Ubisoft Avatar. They did
First
show.
person Avatar game.
I do just want to take that moment to say they showed more of the gameplay. Yeah, we'll call it showcase again. I don't understand what they're showing. It looks like the type of game that's going to get canceled because it's trying to do too many different things.
Mm-hmm.
But they showed a like really cool looking world. That's what they keep showing. It does look like Avatar. But then when I see it, I'm like, this game seems like it's years away from having like, a finish line. But it's too hard to say. You
Did you
never
guys
know
see the
sometimes
second
until you
Avatar
play,
movie,
but-
The Way of Water?
Yeah.
I have
Did you like
not
it?
seen it yet.
I liked pieces of it and it as a showcase for tech. I actually saw it in the high frame rate 3D.
Oh,
in
really?
like a really good theater. So on that side, it was weird watching like these 60 FPS feeling, like video gamey almost, like crystal clear almost.
Yeah.
For that, it was neat. Like when they were in like a pond in the middle of the forest and fishing or something. I was like, this is amazing looking. But like as the movie, I was like, most of this stuff I would cut.
It was a long
It's
movie. I just watched
a very simple
it a couple
story.
days ago.
Yeah.
Like I thought the end was pretty fun because it was just high action, high octane, but
Yeah, it was
pondered a bit. I thought.
felt bookended with the good stuff. The best part in that is actually when they land. I forget what the War Machine Army company is,
Just,
but
like,
they
burn
have a
everything.
Terminator looking scene. It was like landing in fiery smoke. It's like this is the movie you should be making. The Terminator. Because that looked incredible. That was my favorite part of the whole movie, and it was just them like setting down on the planet.
I'll always say yes to a new Terminator.
Yeah, dark. I guess I like dark looks, but
Yeah.
anyway. But yeah, that if you didn't see it, a lot of like exploring and trying to. It seems like with the Avatar gameplay, is going to be a lot about like flying around, exploring, maybe climbing. They didn't show it, but they hinted at it. But like learning the skills of the land. It seems like they're going full RPG in that sense. But that was what was weird. They showed all of that, and then they're like, and the missions, and it's like that. It just really looked like an old school Far Cry game of like a single arrow on a bow, like looking around, and then it's like shooting mechs, and then all of a sudden they pull out like a shotgun because they're like you can play both styles, and that gameplay did not look so great, but I don't know how they're gonna smack that action in the middle of this like kind of vibing Avatar world, but anyway, that one's interesting to look at if you're into Avatar because you tell me if you figured out what that game is yet.
Yeah.
Some quick mentions before we leave. Remnant 2 did get a new trailer, which looked fantastic. This game's coming out July 25th.
Did they drop the From the Ashes? They just like kill that part?
I think so, yeah. It's just Remnant 2
just
now.
Remnant
when you just
now,
search it, just Remnant 2.
As it should be.
But this, man, you can tell how much they've stepped it up from this trailer.
Yeah,
like Remnant
really nice,
1 was really good, but this is a whole other level.
Yeah.
I'm extremely excited for this game. They did incredible with the first, and yeah, it really looks like they've boosted this up. There was another one I can't remember. There's so many.
Fallout expansion, Fallout 76 expansion. There was we didn't talk about Still Wakes the Deep, which was a very short teaser.
Freaking spooky.
Yeah, just like a rig in the middle of an ocean. And you're sort of
survival horror on an oil rig in the ocean.
Seems cool, but they didn't show that much.
Lord.
Bursting through a spooky door with one of those wheel doors that open.
We didn't speak about Avowed. Like, you're into Avowed, right?
Yeah.
You're excited.
I only mentioned
that's
it
Obsidian's
briefly.
new game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the one I was most excited to see originally of the Xbox showcase.
Did you think it looked a bit different, Fran, from when you first saw it? Do you think it looked a bit different from when you first saw it?
Well, they had only showed the, CGI teaser stuff, and it looked like Lord of the Rings in the Mind of Moria, and your sword's like glowing down there. I was like, this looks incredible. And right now, like, it appears a lot closer to like maybe more like a modern day, from the creators of Fallout New Vegas, trying to do kind of like a Skyrim in their own vision, like a little more vibrant, fantastical. So to me, it looks kind of like a Skyrim. I don't know if it'll be like as big. But again, this is from the creators of Fallout New Vegas and some of the original folks who did Fallout. So yeah, I expect it to be a solid RPG. Obsidian knows what they're doing. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, I think. So they know what they're doing. I think it'll be good, but without any real gameplay. It was like a lot of like, here's the sword and the magic moment and this dual-handed magic and sword or two axes. And it literally looks, of course, like that first-person Skyrim perspective that we've all come to adore. So it looks cool, but what we said at the beginning is Starfield was the only like actual gameplay demo we got. So it's too hard to say.
Yep. Indeed.
I'm
sure there's something that I was excited for that I've missed, or something I was at least interested in.
I wrote down Lisfanga, the most oddly named. Do you remember that one?
No.
Lisfanga was. I'm looking it up again right now. Oh yeah, that was also the one that looks like Hades.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
There's two games now. You're gonna mix it up with thinking it's 33 Immortals. I bet. Now that I'm watching it.
How do you spell it?
Lys, like Lys.
Okay.
And Fanga, with an F. Lisfanga, one word. Yeah, I don't know why it's named that, but it looked kind of neat.
It's ringing a bell now, yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be on PC, and it is out later this year. But it's an isometric action game. I don't know much more about it, but I wrote it down. Yeah, hack and slash.
Visually looked cool.
Meets tactical time travel, says Engadget. So I don't know. I noted it. It looked all right.
Oh, you know what I noted? On Guard. On Guard. Now, I'm not really a pirate person, but this combat looked super slick.
Yeah?
Like, combat, it really got me, really surprised me. Yeah, the combat in this trailer was very, very smooth. Just like jumping over tables and stabbing people and doing quick little dashes backwards and flipping over, shooting fire into a cannon to take people down. Yeah, it's throwing ukuleles at people.
Not the ukulele.
Yeah.
That does look. I
pretty cool.
remember seeing it briefly. Yeah, it's kind of cute. Yeah, it's like Sea of Thieves visuals, but you're like this rapier-toting, swashbuckling something.
I do like swashbuckling.
It's as far as I can get with that.
You are
favorite kind of
definitely
buckle.
swashbuckling.
You're a swashbuckler. Yeah, it looks neat.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Oh,
There-
Hellblade 2. They showed a little Hellblade 2. No gameplay.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, this game, I'm just
Duh.
like, I know your game's dope. I played the first one, and you're stepping it up, and your audio's great, and the visuals are great. If you don't see a release date, I don't care anymore. Or gameplay. I'm already locked in. I don't need to see more
Good
of
point.
how
I'm definitely playing
amazing
it.
your game is. I already know. Yeah, it's very good.
Well, yeah, there's so much out there. John Carpenter's Toxic Commando, I also had noted. Like, I don't really want to get into it, but right, Briar? That would surprise me. But hopefully will have killer music if John Carpenter has anything to say about it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot. Throne and Liberty, that Korean MMORPG. I was like, God, not another MMORPG.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what Sandland was. That's on my notes. But the point is, there's a lot. Capcom is coming up. We gotta
Capcom's
go watch
coming
that.
up. The
30 minutes
Xbox
from
Extended
recording.
Showcase is coming up.
What's
There's
that?
still, I think they're showing more gameplay from things, but I'm not sure. I have no goddamn
Interesting.
idea.
I hope so.
I'm tuning in and just seeing what's up, but I keep forgetting because I initially, right at the beginning of the Summer Game Fest, I'm like, okay, what is happening? When is it happening? And then immediately forgot. So.
Yeah. That's okay. It's all available on YouTube. You can watch it whenever. All right. Should we wrap this one up?
All right. Yeah.
All right.
Watch Capcom.
Thank you all for hanging out with us. That
Thank
was
you
a
so much.
recap of the Ubisoft conference, the Summer Game Fest, and the Xbox conference. And we'll be back next week
much.
for more.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye,
Thanks,
guys.
guys. Bye.
Bye.